Today, June 19th, 2025 is Judgment Day. But how did we get here? What does this mean? And what does this mean for tomorrow? Today, I break it down. I explain how we got here, where it's going, and what it means moving forward. But what the heck am I talking about? So in the year 2025, it comes down to pretty much one thing: China owning almost all of the rare earth elements. And as Black Ops 2 predicted, 95% of them. Check this out.
China is responsible for about 70% of mining rare earths and also about 90% of the actual downstream refining. So
also, I just want to be clear about this. This game came out in 2012, and the amount of this stuff that has actually happened today is insane. You'll see where we're going with this, though.
So while corporate America is kissing China's ass,
we're going to be very good to China, have a great relationship with President Xi.
So in 2025, there is a massive movement going on known as Cordis Die. Now, this movement is led by a mystery character who codenames himself Odysseus. However, we know this person as
Raul fucking Menendez. Asshole.
Now, Menendez performs a cyber attack on the Chinese stock market and essentially blames America for it, sending the two countries into turmoil. Earlier this year, on April 20th, David Mason and his crew, known as JSOC, aka Joint Special Operations Command, are sent in to a strange old temple somewhere in Myanmar. Upon getting there, they realize that there's a bunch of Cordis Die forces, specifically Cuban forces, who they end up fighting through and making their way inside the temple, where eventually they find a Celerium chip, which then they give to a commander known as Tommy Briggs.
I guess we can call this mission accomplished.
Admiral Briggs, good to see you.
You too, Sergeant.
Whatever Menendez is planning, Celerium is the key to it.
7 days ago, on June the 12th, David Mason, Harper, and Salazar were all sent somewhere known as Colossus. Now, Colossus is a resort floating in the air. No, you didn't hear me wrong. Floating in the air that is made for essentially eccentric billion and millionaires as an exotic getaway. Now, this also happened to be where the weapon that Raul Menendez was using was being housed. This weapon was known as Karma. Now, as we went in to figure out what this weapon exactly was, we were expecting it to be a weapon. However, it was a person by the name of Chloe Lynch, a hacker working for the Tacticus Corporation who had immense experience working with the exact thing that Raul Menendez was using, which is of course Celerium. Now, it was just yesterday that Chloe Lynch explained to us the extent to which the Celerium can be used. Both on America and China, it can be used to quite literally hack everything. But we didn't really know what was going to happen with this until David Mason just yesterday put it all together.
Menendez is going to attack America and China, taking out both superpowers at the same time. All those files have the same prefix, 61961. 619. Oh my God, June 19th. That's tomorrow.
Junio 19. Freedom Day. The abolition of slavery.
Son of a bitch. Give me breaks, Admiral. This cyber attack is 619 tomorrow.
We have to move on Yemen right away.
But here's the thing, 619 is today, and just earlier today, Raul Menendez rallied the troops, got them all together in a little known place called Yemen. So earlier today, we launched an attack on Yemen to take into custody Raul Menendez, and eventually that is exactly what we did. However, it was odd. Raul Menendez almost turned himself in. We didn't know why or what he was doing, but very clearly he wanted to be taken in. So we did. We brought him over to the USS Obama. Now, upon getting there, it was clear of one thing and one thing alone. Raul Menendez would only talk to one person, that person being David Mason.
Your father's dead. And this people. Finished.
Yeah, go ahead, Admiral Briggs.
We have a situation. We're tracking a passenger jet entering the Obama's airspace.
So a situation arises where some airplanes or birds or unknown objects are coming towards the USS Obama, which requires David Mason's attention. However, upon leaving the room, somehow Raul Menendez ends up getting the upper hand on Salazar. And when he does, he uses it to escape. But at this point, we didn't know why. However, what we found out is the entire thing, the entire being brought to the USS Obama, was all Raul Menendez's plan, because inside of his fake eye, he hid a Celerium chip, which he could then plug into the Obama, causing a cyber attack, which he could use to take control of all of the United States drones, taking control of the entire US's fleet, which he then used to prove a point. Now, there was two thoughts as to what he was doing here. Number one, he was attacking the US, specifically in LA, because that is where the president was. President Bosworth was in LA, and that is where Menendez launched the attacks.
Taking out the G20 leaders will cripple capitalist governments across the world. Yeah.
Anderson's F-838 may still be fired.
Ah, shit! Anderson! She took a hit before, don't know how bad.
At least she's still in one piece.
But it was bad, really, really bad. Menendez had control of absolutely everything, and there was only one way to stop it, and that is to take out Menendez. We had to get this to stop. That is why Menendez called this Judgment Day. But we had one last piece of intel, and that was where Menendez was, specifically in Haiti. So we sent our best in.
Time on target, 60 seconds.
Okay, you're set. Your HUD link clear?
Now, JSOC was able to hunt down and find Raul Menendez. He was indeed in Haiti. But before David Mason could get to him, he put out a broadcast to the world, revealing himself as Odysseus and explaining the reason for the attack on LA.
They thought I wanted to kill the president.
We're fucked.
Doña Presidente, I could have buried you 1,000,000 times over. No. I wanted you to see it. To feel what
The
it's
drones
like.
are being controlled from Haiti. What? Sir, there's nothing more we can do. We cannot regain access to the drones.
2 billion people exist in abject misery. Tyrannized.
It's ready to strike New York. We gotta stop it.
Doña Presidente,
What the fuck?
your war machine.
He self-destructed the drones.
Your military.
Why?
is crippled. You cannot stop us now. Cordis Die. Rise and strike while they are down. Strike now and strike deep.
So he released this video essentially rallying his troops. At this point, his movement, known as Cordis Die, had over 2 billion followers who just saw his statement to the world wanting to destroy capitalism. Now, thankfully, David Mason was there. He was able to track down Raul Menendez. And upon catching up with him and capturing him, this is the decision that David Mason made.
Murder me for Cordis Die.
I got you, brother.
As it turns out, on Judgment Day, the judgment that David Mason made was to kill Raul Menendez. But here's the thing. In doing so, judgment was brought, but not just judgment, judge, a jury, and executioner. But here's the problem. Since a jury of over 2 billion people rallied behind Odysseus and rallied behind Raul Menendez, Judgment Day would only get worse from here. Because tomorrow, this is what we have to deal with. Stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're followed. Tomorrow's going to be a big one.
This video is triggered to play upon my assassination. Cordis Die, you know how to proceed. My death will shine light upon ubiquitous darkness.